Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. You know, today I consider it to be a day of losses. Today was kind of a loss. And let me tell you why. Not because of this podcast. I mean, it makes it a win. But I did something pretty bad today. I had a candy for breakfast. I decided to get a candy bar for breakfast today. And, one of my favorite candy bars of all time, Reese's Fast Break. Not Reese's Cup, even though I like Reese's Cup, but Reese's Fast Break. I had that for breakfast. It was like around 8:30 in the morning. And I don't know why, I was just feeling one. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get one. I got one, and I ate it, and it was delicious. It was so good. It's fantastic. But as I ate it, I knew that, I just ate candy for breakfast. And I know I'm an adult, right? I could do whatever I want. I could eat whatever I want. That's the beauty of being an adult. Dessert, there's no dessert. Every meal you can have can be dessert. It doesn't, there is no spoiling your appetite. You're an adult. It doesn't matter. You can just eat what you want. But I decided to, do the, you get the candy bar, and, I know that I should not have done that, but I did. And as I finished the candy bar, I was like, yeah, not the best idea. Sometimes, man, when you go to stores, when you go to get gas or whatever, when you go to a gas station and want to fill up, and then you're looking at the gas station, not the actual pump, but the little mini mart that they have at the gas station, pretty much at every gas station that's ever existed. The ones that don't have that, by the way, those ones suck. You can't tell me that you're going to have a gas station pumps and no mini mart. For me to just kind of go in and browse and parade and be like, man, what do I want? I know that filling up my tank of gas, you're welcome, gas station employees, but I also want a snack. I want to fill myself up as well. And maybe not completely full, but I do want to fill myself up. I want some food. The ones that don't have that can go rot in hell. I've come across a couple of those in my life. Not many, not very many. But the ones that I do come across, you can all go rot in hell. What purpose do you have? But if you're not going to have a little mini mart, what if I want a soda pop? What if I want, a little snack? And you don't have that. But that, the candy bars, where they're placed in stores and in gas stations and in mini marts, they're placed at a pretty damn good, good spot. As soon as if you go to a store, you check out, at the registers, they got some gum, candy, magazines, mints, all that's there. It's yeah, y'all are pretty damn smart. Because I tend to get at least one thing when I see those things, whether it be gum, candy, chips, soda, whatever. I usually tend to get at least one item from those stands, and I gotta tell you, man, it's one of my bigger weaknesses is the impulsive buying of snacks, because I'm a big snack guy. I try not to be, because I am working out now, and I'm trying to lose the weight. I'm really, really trying, and I think I'm down to the science of it no longer really is my ability to burn calories, because yesterday I burned about 700 calories on the treadmill, and that's according to my watch. So I'm gonna base that on my watch. That's a fact. Sometimes I feel like there's no really good calorie burner tracker out there. there's some on the treadmills, but how the hell do they know how much I'm actually burning on a treadmill? Really, like that, I feel like that's not really accurate. But I do feel that since I'm using my watch also can track steps, can track movement, can track heart rate constantly. I feel that the Apple Watch that I have is able to count my calories more accurately than a treadmill or anything else that even exists out there. I'm pretty sure Samsung and other watch companies do the same exact thing, right? They would have to be able to track all that stuff. I mean, if they're able to track sleep, they sure as hell should be able to track calories that you've burned. Now, yesterday, and let me back it up a little bit. I remember like months ago, I told you guys that I was working out. And I was trying to lose weight, trying to better myself, my life, my health, everything, right? I started at doing treadmill walking at 12 incline, 3 speed for 30 minutes. Somebody on TikTok, my sister showed me that this was a thing on TikTok or YouTube, I can't remember, but it was supposed to burn fat pretty fast. And, I looked into it and I researched, like, does actual incline walking burn more fat than, let's say, jogging or running? Now, it turns out that it does, because, it depends. I back in the day when I was working out before this period, I would just jog/run on a treadmill for like, I don't know, 40 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever. Now, I've been doing 30 minutes on the treadmill. 2 weeks ago, I bumped it up to 35 minutes. And yesterday, I decided to do 40 minutes just for the first time. And I've noticed some pretty big differences, between running and incline walking. I mean, let's just say what it is. We don't have to sugarcoat it what it is. I'm just going to call it hiking, because hiking is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm going up an incline. When you hike up a mountain, you're going up, right? Except when you go back down, then I guess you're going down. But for the most part, if you go hiking in the mountains, you're going to be going uphill. So essentially, I could be I'm doing a hike, right? I'm doing a hike straight uphill for 40 minutes. And yesterday, I have it on my phone actually, I did 40 minutes of actual incline walking, and then 5 minutes of cool down, which is like a slightly decreased incline, slightly reduced speed, and for about 5 minutes, gradually lowering the incline, and then gradually lowering the speed. And yesterday, I was able to clock in a total calories of 827 calories burned, and active calories was 723 calories. So I think that is pretty good for one workout. Now, that's all according to my watch. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but let's just go with it that it is true. That is the real time that it took me, or that's the calories that I burned within that time period, and that all accumulated within 45 minutes on the treadmill. 40 of it being incline walking and 5 minutes of cool down. But that is that. So I've been able to bump up the exercise. I've been able to bump that up, I think, gradually, a little bit slower than I thought, but gradually I've bumped it up. I don't really see any point of not going the full distance on that, because when I was doing it yesterday, I was, kind of testing myself to see if I'm able to do this at a speed and at a comfortability that I won't feel like I need to take a break or, reduce the speed or lower the incline. And throughout that, I found like, this is pretty good. I don't feel like I need to lower any speed or nothing really. So that was actually something that that kind of surprised me. I also felt really good that day. Before the gym, during, and even after. Like, I just felt really good. So maybe, it all kind of depends on the day that you have. Yesterday just was a very good feeling day. I just felt very good. Felt awake, alert, healthy, strong. So maybe it's all based on days. But, I think I'm at the point now where I'm burning enough calories. I think 723 is enough. Like a day for a workout, and then that not counting the calories that you just burn, daily, just from existing. But I think that I'm at the point now where I have to drastically change up a diet. I feel like at the moment that I don't eat really bad per se. Well, you know what? No. I don't eat like a lot, I would say. I've definitely cut down on the intake of food that I have consumed in the past. There was a point in time where I feel like I could eat anything and even more. Like when I was younger, right? And pretty sure this is like everybody when they were younger. You go to like some kind of restaurant, whether it be fast food or actual restaurant, you'd be able to kill all the food that's on your plate, And I still do that, but I do not, at least recently, since I've been working out, I don't really put as much on my plate as I used to. I also don't get up for seconds as much as I used to. And I also don't eat as bad as I used to. Like, there was a point in time, like I said, when I would eat fast food so much, and it just, it didn't affect me. And a couple days ago, maybe last week, I decided to get some McDonald's for breakfast, good old-fashioned McDonald's. Just for, a treat, because I didn't want to eat anything, I didn't want to make anything, or, get something too expensive, or that would take too long to make. So I decided, I'm going to go to, McDonald's, and I'm going to get some, nice. So I decided to get a 20-piece chicken McNuggets and a double cheeseburger. My God, did everything taste so good. It tasted so good. But it didn't feel good after. Immediately I had to use the bathroom, and I was like, yo, what? This never happened to me before. Maybe it's time to put an end to this. Now, I'm not talking about like I felt sick, I needed to vomit, or I was going to throw up or something like that. No, I just, number 2, you know what I'm saying? But still, it's like, maybe this should not be entering my body anymore. Or maybe at least not as much as I had. I mean, I had a lot of it. 20-piece McNuggets and a double cheeseburger is kind of a lot of food. Let's be honest. I was telling my brother, like, this is a ton of food. And he was like, no, it isn't. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, 20 nuggets is a lot of food. I think that they actually took off the 20 nugget meal at McDonald's because it was just too big. And you know what? Thank you, McDonald's. Thank you for doing that, because people would just order that all the time if it was probably on there. Now that it's not there, people probably don't order as much as they used to back then. I mean, could you imagine people ordering 20 nuggets all the time? It's not something that you should be consuming that often in that big of a quantity. Like, I ate it and I was like, oh my God, this is a ton of food. I used to eat this like maybe a few times a month. It's just not good, but I think it's the diet now. I think I'm going to have to start really being careful of what I consume now in order to actually see like pounds shed off of me and see results on the scale, because I weigh myself every day now. It's kind of become a habit, like a bad habit, that I just kind of weigh myself every morning, every time I work out, before I go to sleep. I always do it now. It's kind of obsessive, but again, I think that it's a much better, for me, it's in a much better peace of mind or place in your mind than never getting on a scale and never knowing where you're at. You know, there was times where I saw the scale in my bathroom. This is probably at my heaviest, right? So my heaviest probably was like around like maybe 2021. I've lost pounds, so it's definitely not now. I've definitely lost some weight. But it's probably like maybe 2021, early 2021, you know, still kind of pandemic era. Still kind of, you know, that era of like just like not doing much, slouching, eating whatever you want, eating too much. Around January, right? Probably after all the holidays have passed and you're just eating tons of food, along with, you know, a year essentially of not doing that much stuff outdoors, what have you. That was probably my heaviest. And I don't remember what I weighed then. I really don't. Like, probably because I didn't weigh myself much, I avoided the scale. Like, I would look at that scale and I'd be like, nope, not today. I ain't looking at that right now. Now I weigh myself all the time. And you could say that it might be unhealthy for somebody like me to, or somebody like anybody, right, to be looking at a scale that much and really like, you know, I guess critiquing yourself that much, like, oh, look at this, you're up a pound, or you're up half a pound, or 0.3 of a pound you lost or you gained or whatever. And I'm at that point where it's like, you know what? I notice it quite a bit because I do weigh myself quite a bit. But also, I've also put into my mind that I want to reach a goal where I am at my quote-unquote healthy body weight for my height. Now, I am 5'11". I'm just about 6 feet. On a good day with some good shoes, I can seem pretty damn tall. But I'm not that tall. I'm 5'11". So, the perfect weight, I think, at least what Google said, for my body, for my height, my weight should be around 189 to 185, I believe. I believe that is the goal, or what Google has said. Now, I'm not sure if it's like based on, you know, like modern day standards, modern day regulations of how they measure body weight and what consists of healthy, what consists of overweight, or what consists of obesity. I'm going to say that at my point right now, I've dropped 10 pounds. I'm at 225 now. That still, to me, is obese, or pretty close to obese, if not that. I was at 235. Now, that was pretty terrible. That was like, I mean, like I told you, I think I told this story before. I walked past a mirror, and I saw what I saw, and I was like, no, not anymore. This cannot stand. I cannot continue to look like this. This is how I look. This is what people see. Like, this has got to change. This is enough is enough. So, you know, I decided, time to lose weight. And now I'm just so like focused on doing that. Like, there's days when I go work out and I feel amazing. Every day after I work out, I feel amazing. You know, they say like the runner's high, or, you know, how it, you know, the feeling you get after like running or whatever. Well, I don't run, but I do treadmill. I do the treadmill, and I do get my heart rate up, and I do go for a while, and I do get a good sweat in. And I do lift weights after that, and I lift weights, you know, on the regular every other day or so. And it's like, you know, I mean, shit, like you feel pretty amazing after you work out. So it's a great feeling to chase. It's something that, you know, you want to feel like that all the time. You know, I used to take naps quite a bit, you know, after work. I'd come home and I'd be like, night, grab a spot on the couch and just get a blanket and then just knock out. Like, actually knock out. It was not healthy. Very not healthy. Very, totally not. I don't recommend doing that, taking naps for that long. And sometimes my naps would be somewhat, you know, normal length, 20 to 40 minutes sometimes an hour. On a really bad day, 3 hours. And that's like, oh, what have I done? And then you don't feel good after it either. Like a 20-minute power nap, it actually can perk you up pretty well. So I don't denounce those. But an hour to an hour plus, I denounce those. Those ones don't feel good. Those ones make you feel bad and groggy. 20 minutes, fine, I think. Good power nap, good power rest. You can come back from that and be like, you know what? Let's continue on. Let's move on with the day. That's not too bad. But an hour plus, nah, I denounce that shit. But it's so much better after you work out. And after I work out, I don't feel tired. I feel like a little bit more energetic. I feel like I can do more stuff. I feel like I can just stay up longer. I don't need to take a nap or nothing. And it just, you feel better. So like, that's kind of like why I also keep working out too, because I probably could have quit, a long time ago. It's been about 4 months since I've started to work out. And I've taken some breaks here and there. Sometimes there was a time in like May or June, I think I didn't feel so good. So I took like a few days off, like maybe like 4 or 5 days off, maybe even a week, I think. And I came back and I was like, oh, before I even came back, it felt like I had quit. It felt like I had lost so much ground on what I had done previously. And I was like, damn, do I really get back into it? Do I really try to do this again? Start it back up, essentially. I mean, I'm not starting it back up, but I'm definitely like, feels like you got to start over. Even though it's like not that big of a deal, you feel like you need to restart up again. You need to start the engines one more time. And I did. And that was, in my opinion, me kind of like overcoming quitting. Or like, maybe not overcoming, but like burning the quitting mentality out of my brain. Because that was probably the moment where I could have just thrown in the towel and just been like, nah, I don't need to. Nah, I'm fine. But I didn't. I didn't do that. I continued on. I pushed on. And yeah, there are some days where I don't go 5 days a week. Maybe I go 4. But I don't let that stop me. I don't let that derail the process. Because, like I said, I've been going at this for 4 months now. And I can totally, in my eyes, I can totally get to 185. Like, there's no reason why I can't try to get to 185. If I'm really thinking about it, if I'm really being honest with myself, and if I'm really looking at, like, myself and like, what I'm doing, like, I just went up to 40 minutes, and I didn't feel, like, exhausted or didn't injure myself. I didn't feel that much tired. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, why can't if I keep doing this 45 minutes, maybe up it to an hour. Let's say that. Let's just say I up it to an hour. I could get to, 185 even quicker than just keeping it at 30 minutes. Now, maybe it's my brain saying like, yo, bro, you've been at this for 4 months and you don't have that much results. You've only lost about 10 pounds. But I don't feel like I only lost 10 pounds. I feel like I've lost more than 10 pounds. But I think it's the muscle that you gain when you also work out. Even though I don't really do a whole lot of weight stuff, like too much. I do it, but not like a ton, like a real gym rat. I just don't have the time, or like I don't want to do these machines, and the free weights kind of take a little bit longer to use. But still, like, we're walking at an incline is like hiking. Like my quads have definitely gotten more muscular. I've noticed calves too. So once those start to come in, the fat also weighs less than muscle. So, if these are coming in and, the fat is, I can tell in my waist and in my abdomen that it is shaving off. Slowly but surely it's coming off. Like, why can't I get to 185 or 190, at least, right? It's totally possible. Like, in my brain, in my stupid brain at this moment, I'm thinking to myself that, you know what? This is totally possible. Like, there is no reason why you cannot reach 185. It might not take you that. It might take you a bit longer than you think, but you can get there. Like, I can get to that point. Like, there's no reason why I can't. There really is no reason why I don't have the ability to do it. I just have to do it. And that, I think, is, for me, it keeps me level-headed, because essentially it's all on me. And how people like sometimes they hate things when they don't, or they get like stressed out where things are out of their control. They blame other things because this didn't happen. But if you're trying to lose weight, the only excuse, the only thing that can get in your way really is yourself. I mean, sure, you can make excuses about like appointments and stuff, work, possibly other things, school, family, children. Yeah, sure. But ultimately, it's your choice. It's your choice. Like, yeah, I work and I also go to the gym after work. Like, there's so many days where I don't want to go after work. But when I do go, I'm in the zone. And after I go, I'm like, thank God I went. Because if I didn't, I would have felt like total shit. There are the days that I don't go, the days that I end up not going, because I do succumb to laziness, and I do succumb to sometimes not being as motivated as other days, right? Good and bad days. Sometimes when I can't go because I have an appointment, or I got to do some stuff, got to take care of some business that I just can't. Yeah, of course, you're going to have days like that, but that doesn't give you the excuse to completely quit on it, to completely just stop, right? Like I said, I took a week off, maybe more, because I felt sick. I wasn't feeling very good. But then after that, I'm like, let's get back into it. So really, weight loss, you can make excuses all you want. Anybody can make an excuse, right? It really just comes down to you. If you want to continue to push on, if you want to continue the lifestyle, if you want to continue to the point where you do see results. Like, that is like my main goal. Like, I want to reach that weight. I haven't weighed that much. Shoot, man. Probably since high school. God damn, it's been a long time. But like, I looked back and I'm like, dude, like, I saw some pictures of myself like when I was like younger, like in high school. Like, I could just tell, like, dude, I was so much skinnier then. And I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but it was. And you feel like, you're still yourself since you were in high school. Like, in a way, if you haven't changed that often, if you didn't get like too many crazy experiences like in college where you got completely changed into somebody else, if you're not like that, you're still thinking to yourself like, dude, I'm like the same how I was back then fundamentally as I am now. Maybe a few things change, maybe a few opinions change, but you're essentially the same person, unless you went through a drastic change where you're like, I'm totally different now. But for the most part, I feel like, yeah, high school me is kind of still the same me at the end of the day. I mean, people change all the time, but maybe not as much as most of us think. Maybe it's a lot less, drastic and more like small changes. We're like, oh yeah, I do this now, or oh yeah, this is what I'm up to now. But really, it isn't all that much. And seeing how I used to look and how much, obviously I was in high school, I was a kid back then, right? Higher metabolism, probably burn fat a lot easier. I could eat McDonald's more than I can now. But it's like, damn, I need to get back to that. Like, I think senior year me, I think I was the same height, but I'm pretty sure I weighed 195, maybe 200 pounds. So overweight, but now, I mean, like, I just feel like when I did try to lose weight at a point, maybe about 5 years ago, maybe even more, I got down to 211. And that was like the lowest point that I was since graduating high school. I think. I can't remember now. It's all becoming a blur. But my point is, I can totally get down to 195 or 185. Like, it does not seem like an impossible feat. Some people might be like, that's impossible. Like, no, it isn't, though. It truly isn't. And I know I'm at the point where I said, like, I've been doing this for 4 months now, and it kind of feels like just what I do now. And at the start, you'll when you're like, if I was to start today, and they're going to say, like, you need to be down to 185, and you'll be like, well, that's impossible. But as you go, as you continue to do the working out, as you continue to trying to eat better and to better yourself overall, that goal, that weight that you want to get to, does not seem as impossible with the mindset that you build during that time, that you do have the discipline and actually put the work in. Like, 185 seems like nothing. Like, I can totally get to that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're listening to this and thinking, like, dude, that's still a lot of weight that you got to lose, and it doesn't come off as easy as the first few, like 10 pounds. Hey, dude, I understand. I get that. I totally get that. But I still want to try. Like, I still just want to try and be like, I want to prove you all wrong. Because I've heard some doubters. I've heard people doubt that, yeah, right, you can't get that, or that's going to be tough, bro. But I think I can do it. I truly believe that. I think that I can. I was, it's just kind of where my mind's at, thinking about that. And I'm going to keep going, going to keep on doing that, and just not hope, but work towards that goal. And I feel like if you're on the fence about thinking about doing that type of thing, making a big life change like losing weight, I would say just start like walking. Start exercising. Not even that much, maybe a little bit. I didn't start the workout that I'm doing, right? The 12, 30, and 3. I didn't start at that. I started like at a 10 incline, at a 2.5 speed for 30 minutes. I wasn't there yet. I wasn't. You can't, if you haven't worked out in a while, you can't just, you can, but it will hurt. Going hard in the paint for the very first workout, it's probably going to hurt you. You're probably going to get a little tight, a little sore, depending on, fatigue. Might get winded. You might, depending on how hard you go, right? But once your body gets used to it, you're gonna notice that, it's not as hard as it seems. And it sort of becomes therapeutic, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I like this quite a bit. But moving on to something that I've been pretty excited about, pretty excited to talk about, actually, because I feel like I owe a lot of my personality, a lot of my character, a lot of my insight, a lot of like just what I enjoy about podcasting, about conversation, about having points to make, and having debates, and really like trying to best voice opinions, and proving points, and arguing, not like a bad arguing, but like having strong arguments, and being spoken up for is to a man, well, two men actually, that no longer work together. One is at Fox Sports 1, one is at ESPN. In this case, I'm going to be talking about the one from Fox Sports 1, that being Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is, to me, one of the best hot take givers, not only just hot takes, but best sports debate broadcasters on the planet. I mean, when I first was introduced to First Take back in, maybe 2010, 2011, that was at the peak of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless on First Take on ESPN at 7 a.m. in the morning, maybe 6 a.m. in the morning. It was the early morning sports debate show that I would consume on the daily basis. This is when I was not in college, so I was kind of like bumming out. But I was able to wake up early and get my day started with some Stephen A. Smith and some Skip Bayless. And let me tell you, like, some of the all-time best episodes, best content to me in any way on TV was First Take. I mean, you're getting these dudes that have been on TV for years, who started as reporters and journalists, made their way all the way up to TV, and giving their opinions and hot takes on all these topics on sports. And you know me, how much I love sports, and you know me, how I love hearing voices and people voicing their opinions about things. Whether you agree or disagree, it is so refreshing to see what people think and to say it in the way that they want to, and being able to elaborate it in the way that they think that is best to fit their point. And, you know, not everybody's going to agree with you, but that's the beauty of conversation, and the beauty of having opinions is to say what is on your mind and what you think and how it's different from other people. A lot of what I think that I have been in my life, how I have adapted and how I've grown, is from watching First Take and watching Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. And that's how I am today. So the fact that Skip Bayless is, his show Undisputed, is finally back on the air after about a 2-month hiatus. Now, I've talked about this before. Shannon Sharp, who was Skip Bayless's co-host or debater on Undisputed, left the network and is going to be working on First Take on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith. I believe that will be his first episode. I believe is on September 4th or September something. I can't remember. Early September. But this week, actually a few days ago, on Monday, was the debut of the new Undisputed. And, you know, like I said, Shannon Sharp went to ESPN, is now going to be with Stephen A. Smith and all those guys. Skip Bayless has, in my opinion, you know, done a lot of hard work and a lot of negotiating and assembled, I think, a team that is probably going to make Undisputed better than it ever has been, better than ever. If you don't know who Skip Bayless brought over to Undisputed, he brought over Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, and Michael Irvin. Now, at the time of this recording, I have seen pretty much all the clips on YouTube that I can find. I have seen, all the ones that I can find, because I'm not able to watch when the show debuts at 6 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning. I just, got priorities. I cannot attend and watch live, but I have seen all the clips, and Jesus Christ, this man, Skip Bayless, Undisputed, Fox Sports 1, has absolutely struck gold. Because the rapport, the chemistry, the back and forth, the points, the debates, the arguments, the shouting, just the fact that these guys are all able to bounce off each other, argue with each other in the most entertaining way, and also being able to prove their points in the best that they can in terms of hot takes, sports shows, sports debate shows. I have not felt this great about watching a show, a sports debate show, in years. Since Stephen A. and Skip used to go at it, and then they would also bring in guests, and they would have people, on the panel as well, chiming in and giving their opinions. These guys, Keyshawn, Michael, Richard, and Skip, I mean, the show was absolute fire. Absolutely fire. They were talking about Trey Lance. First of all, the news of Trey Lance being traded from the 49ers to the Cowboys. That entire conversation was electric, energizing, and electric, loud. There was no loss of energy. It was just beautiful TV. Absolutely beautiful TV. Like, dude, it was like the good old days again. It was just incredible. And I was thinking to myself, like, dude, Shannon Sharpe was also amazing. But the guys that Skip assembled, for essentially him to be somewhat of a moderator now and letting these guys go off, but also letting him give off his hot takes as well, like, Fox Sports struck gold here. Like, they truly struck gold. And I gotta say, I'm looking forward to seeing Shannon Sharpe, go with Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith. I'm really excited to see how Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe match up with each other on that show. But at the moment, dude, Undisputed is the show to watch. Like, especially when the NFL finally kicks off, right? When the NFL kicks off within 2 weeks, and it's like a Monday after the Cowboys lose, and Michael, Irvin, and Skip Bayless being Cowboy fans, and then Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman having to debate them. Like, this is gonna be an insane season for Undisputed. Like, this is it. Like, Undisputed took a hiatus, and before the hiatus, it was just Shannon and it was just Skip. Now, I like that, but there was, before the whole pandemic happened, they would also have guests and bring people onto the panel, and they would have more of a discussion instead of a debate. Now, I like both, but I also like when you get more people's opinions and then more ways to interject and have a bigger conversation. With these four guys being like on the show now, it just feels like it's the back to the good old days where it was more than just two people. I gotta be honest with you. I think the reason why I kind of fell off of Undisputed was because it was only Skip and Shannon, and that was it. Now, they were good. Let's be honest, they were good. But I think with those shows, you can only do so much with like two people debating the same exact points all the time and for the same similar topics. But now that you have multiple people, like, you can tell that Keyshawn is going to be the LA guy, LeBron guy. Skip hates LeBron. Michael Irvin is going to be the Cowboys guy. Skip loves the Cowboys, but Keyshawn and Richard Sherman are probably going to be more of like skeptical about the Cowboys. Like, you can already see like the interdynamics between the guys on the panel, and it's just like how it's going to play out. And I'll be honest, man, it's going to be tough for ESPN to compete with that, because this week their shows on Undisputed, their clips that I've seen have been all fire, absolute fire, and it has brought back a love and a desire to watch this type of show again. It really, really has. Because let's be honest, the reason why I watched First Take was because of Stephen A. Smith and because of Skip Bayless. The reason why I continue to watch First Take is because of Stephen A. Smith. And even when they had Michael Irvin there for a little bit too. When they had Michael Irvin at ESPN, that was fire as well. And when they would bring in Keyshawn to First Take, that was fire as well. But, in the latest, before Keyshawn went to Fox, he was not on First Take as much as I would hope. He was on his other show, which, I love Keyshawn as a broadcaster. I think he's very, very good. I think he's transitioned very well from the NFL to being an athlete to being an analyst and a pundit. I think he's very, very good at that. Sherman will get there too. He's very new at it. He's going to find his voice and he's going to get there. But I just like the lineup that they've assembled at FS1 and at Undisputed. Like, it's just like reminiscent of the glory days of sports debate, sports conversations that actually have passion behind it, that the people who are talking about it actually care. Like, Skip has always cared. He has very much cared about, all of his opinions, even Shannon Sharp. But now you got Michael Irvin, who is like the most passionate speaker about the Cowboys, even more so than Skip sometimes. And then you got Keyshawn, who loves the Lakers. And then you got Richard, who's going to push back at everything that they probably are going to say. Keyshawn too. But seeing that whole dynamic play out, at least up until this moment in this week, absolute fire. And this is just a taste of it. It's just going to be a taste. Once the football season really kicks off, this is going to be must-watch TV. I'm just saying it right here. This is going to be must-watch TV. I'm pretty sure that Michael Irvin signed to be on Undisputed on Mondays and Fridays. So we're going to be getting him right after, after NFL Sundays and like after Thursday Night Football as well. So, and for the weekend preview for the NFL games. So, dude, I have to say it. Undisputed right now is the one to watch. Like if you're a sports fan like me and you enjoy seeing people's opinions and people's takes, I enjoy that because that means somebody's brain is actually working. Like, someone's brain is actually working and trying to see, is this really just black and white? No, there's some gray area here that needs to be exploited, that needs to be shown, that needs to be spoken on. There's something else there. I love that about these talk shows, and I love that about hot takes in general, is that it's never just black and white. There's always got to be something there. It can't just be like a mainstream opinion or a mainstream, boneheaded opinion that, it's either this or that. Are you sure? Are you really sure? I don't know about that. I don't think that's always the case, and I find that very boring. That's why I enjoy these debate shows so much, because there's just like so much stuff that could happen, so many points that are made during arguments that you're like, interesting. Like, there are things that Skip says and I'm like, interesting? Okay, I agree. But then Keyshawn would bring up something else. It's like, oh, okay, there's another angle. So, like, these guys clearly care about that. And I think that's really what drives me to watching these type of shows. Seeing the people on the panel, the debaters, the commentators, the pundits, that they actually give a shit about what they're saying and about what they're, what they actually think. And when you see that, when you actually see that people give a shit and they actually care, it makes me want to watch. It makes me want to put my eyes on it and be like, yeah, okay, here we go. This is it. I'm digging this. By the way, I know a lot of my listeners probably don't watch sports, but I just got to put it out there. I mean, like, Undisputed, man. I'm back. I'm so back, and I can't wait for football season to finally happen. Anyways, so moving on. I want to talk about one last thing before I go. It's about the internet. It's about social media, actually. It's been about maybe, I don't know, a couple months since the launch of Threads. And I'll be honest, I barely check the fucking app. I barely check it now. I'm starting to think that maybe that app ended up failing. Maybe Threads is dead. Like, I'm thinking about it because I go on my phone every day, right? I have my little folder that has my social media apps. It has X, it has Threads, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. And the one I barely use is Threads. Like, I think that the Threads might be like the least used social media app that I have on my phone. And I barely even touch Facebook. But the thing with Threads, though, is that it's the same exact app. It's pretty much used for the same exact thing that X is used for. Just like posting shit. But X was already there before Threads even showed up. And then when Threads showed up, it did the exact same thing. But there was a naiveness to it. Like, Threads, when it came out, it was new. It was fresh. It was back when X was called Twitter. It didn't have the what's the word? The bad reputation that Twitter, now known as X, had. And, people flocked to it, including myself. People were posting on Threads like it was just like a brand, like it was, how it felt, like a new social media. You post like, hey, I'm having coffee today. Thinking about going to get a cheeseburger. I want pizzas tonight. I don't want to do my laundry. I feel like school can wait. Or I don't want to clock in work. Stuff like that. Silly stuff that, is meaningless, harmful, peaceful. Just being naive and being having fun on the app, on Threads. And now I think I went on it today just to do a little bit of research. And generally, it's still the same type of posts, fun posts, not a whole lot of, because X now is just like essentially just political posts, advertising your whatever you do, very, very safe posts, like very curated posts that are not going to get you into trouble. A post that, your publicist would make under your account. But Threads feels much more personal than X does. And I'm not saying that people don't like to get personal, but privacy is such a big thing in the world today. Privacy, being able to keep your privacy from anything at all costs, and being able to protect your privacy at all costs. People don't really want to share their lives of what they're doing on social media anymore. And I think now, because it's been so long, and I think now because not as many people are on Threads as they are on X, it has kind of lost traction. And not many people use it, and maybe a lot of people even forget that it's there. Because the apps, now that Twitter is now X, the app is somewhat similar to Threads. It's black. Obviously, it has an X and not a little thread thing, but, now it's black. And by the way, opinions on X. I do not enjoy the new app design. If you've seen it, it's like an X that it was before, the black background with the white fancy X, but now it's got like white paint stains on it. Like, it just splotched it with white paint. Like, what was the point of that? Like, it actually looks kind of filthy. Like, I don't like it. Like, it's like it's like a dirty app now. Like, it just does not look appealing. Now, I have been very much on Elon Musk's side when he turned Twitter into X. I said, I don't care. It operates the same exact way. The app, you can post whatever, repost, do all that stuff. It's the same exact app. with just a cool X. But once you put the white stains on the app, like, it was just like, why though? Like, that for me was like me channeling like my inner Elon Musk hatred that so many people have, and being like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I know you probably didn't have to change to X, but you did. That's totally fine. That's your freedom to do so. The fact that people were getting so mad about that too, by the way, still baffles me. But I do think that adding the white paint drops, paint stains on the app is kind of weird. Like, it took me a while to get suspicious about what you were thinking about this app. And now that there's white streaks on it, white paint stains, it's like, why though? Like, that was something that was not needed. Totally not needed. And I didn't really care for that. I thought it was kind of silly, kind of stupid. Like, that didn't need to be a thing. Come on, Elon. That was silly. But yeah, I think that Threads is probably dead. It's probably dead. And you know why? Because both apps generally do the same exact thing. But there was already a market for that. It was X. And you cannot make an app that does the exact same thing as the other app and try to outdo it and try to kill it. Because yeah, the first like week or so, like, people were flocking to it. Yeah, sure. But in the long run, I've seen, statistics that point to that the X, not the X, but the Threads users are not using the app as much as they did for that first week. I guess, like, you can't really have an app that does the same thing as another app coexist at the same exact time. People will choose which one they prefer. And as much as people say that they hate X, I don't think they like Threads as much either. I don't think that they care that much about Threads either. So I guess, like, Zuck's attempt, Meta's attempt to corner the market and try to unleash hell and convert all the X users to Threads. At this moment, it feels like it just didn't work. That it was not going to work, and it probably didn't really have much of a chance to convert them. Like, Zuck was like thinking, like, I'm going to convert them to the Church of Threads. And Elon's like, yeah, good luck with that. And I gotta tell you, that first week, it had me. I was hooked. I was checking Threads. I was telling people about it, like, hey, hear about this new app? And I was like, look at this shit. It's so cool. But then even myself, who thought it was cool, who thought it was going to be potentially could have killed Twitter, now known as X, didn't happen. But hey, you know what? That's what happens with time. That's what happens when you give something like that time to develop and people to settle down and really be like, do I really gotta use this app? It does the exact same fucking thing as the other one. And that probably was the mindset that they thought that they could avoid when they launched Threads. But people were like, dude, they both do the same thing. And it just adds more things for me to check. And I don't want to do that. So that's probably why Threads is dying. Or is dead. It might actually be dead at this point. Like, I'm on my phone quite a bit. Like, I would say that I use my phone a lot. And a lot to browse social media. And even me, who's on their phone quite a bit, forgets sometimes daily to even check Threads. So if you got people that are not as invested in social media as I do, you already know that they even have a worse track record of checking their threads than I do. So if you could take that example, that what's the word, the sample of research, Zuck, the app Threads, probably not doing so hot. Just being honest. I thought it had a chance. A lot of us did, but it might not. Anyways, people, thank you for listening. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. The new episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, do all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.